What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, 30th of Jan. Still no signings through the door, but it's getting to that time of the window where it's just like names getting thrown left, right, and centre, and links coming left, right, and centre as well. It's just going absolutely mad on the rumour mill at the moment. And we brought you the news yesterday of Johan Wissa. Sami Mokbel says that Spurs are interested. Fabrizio Romano also said that Spurs like Johan Wissa. However, Alex Young from the Standard says a move for Johan Wissa to Tottenham is extremely unlikely at this stage. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, seeing as so late in the window, I'm sure Brentford are going to try and keep him if they can. I do think the money's right. They'll probably accept an offer, but what that fee will look like, I don't really know. Obviously, we're trying to get a player out of a Premier League team near the end of a window where Premier League teams these days don't get bullied as much as maybe they used to. Maybe 10 years ago, a lot of teams, Premier League teams, have money. The reality is, with Wissa, he's got 18 months left on his deal. He's 28. And Brentford's model usually is in these situations, they will sell if the money's right and if it works for them. So I do think if we really wanted to push for a deal, we can. But as well, because it's January, we're probably going to have to pay more than he's worth, probably, I would say. And is it in that sense, is he a player that we're desperate for? I think if we can't get our other targets, maybe we'll revisit it. But I think right now we're looking at other things, it looks like.
Yeah, but I mean, regarding him and regarding Brentford, right, they've lost Even Tony in the summer. They've got Kevin Sade, actually, who's actually done really well this season. Brian Mbeumo, obviously. But with it being the 30th of January, if you want to get him out, you need to give them time to bring in someone to replace him, right? And there just isn't that time left of the window, only like 4 days left. So I just can't see that. I never really thought this one was a real possibility, and I think that's the way it's going to come to pass.
As I think with Brentford, even if the money's right, I think they'll probably even sell him without time to replace. Because look, they're not going to get relegated. They're kind of in a battle for Europe, but not really. They're in the mid-table, so they kind of got an outside chance of going for it. But as I've said, they're a club that their model's based on usually, getting the right money and reinvesting it. That's how they've got to where they are. So it wouldn't surprise me if even if there's not a lot of time to replace him, they would sell if the money's right.
Let's move on to the big name, which is Mathys Tel. We brought you a hefty update on him yesterday, and there's another hefty update on him today. Starting off with Florian Plettenberg, he says Tottenham are pushing for Mathys Tel, and Bayern Munich and Tottenham have now opened direct talks and negotiations regarding Tel. Fabrice Hawkins says that Bayern want 50 to 60 million euros to sell Tel permanently. Tottenham are pushing. Manchester United and Arsenal are also in the mix, as are Aston Villa, because Aston Villa are looking to replace the outgoing John Duran with Bayern Munich's Mathys Tel. Bayern director Max Erbel says, yes, Mathys Tel wants to go, loan or permanent. We'll see all the options. I've rarely had so many calls about a player before. Romano says the race for Tel is starting to heat up with Premier League clubs pushing. Tottenham open to invest on a permanent transfer as the director was in attendance in Munich last night. Chelsea is still there on a permanent deal. Manchester United called for the loan conditions. The Quip are saying Tottenham are the most active club in the past few hours to sign Tel. Spurs technical director Johan Lang was at the game in Munich last night to hold talks. Bayern and convince the player, both on loan and the permanent deals are both on the table. Sami Mokbel says Tel is waiting to see if Manchester United or Arsenal formalise their interest in his services before making a final decision on his destination. Tottenham and Chelsea are the clubs with the firmest interest in him as it stands. And Loic Tanzi says Tottenham are the most active club in the past few hours to sign Mathys Tel. Johan Lang travelled to Munich to hold talks with Bayern and convince the player, both on a loan and a permanent, are on the table. So what's your thoughts?
It's as much as I think we're clearly trying hard and clearly he's a perfect fit for us. And he's, as we said yesterday, he's a player we've clearly looked at before. It's still at this stage going to be very difficult to convince him to come to us ahead of probably these other teams, especially the likes of Arsenal and now of Aston Villa entering the race. They've got Champions League football. Unai Emery is a good manager, good European pedigree. He kind of fits their system as well. He can play maybe in a top two with Watkins, or he can play out wide. They're looking for a wide player, that's for sure, because since Diaby's left, they haven't really replaced him. So I think they probably could do with a wide player of Tell's quality. So that's another club that with John Duran leaving, they probably have the money to stump up, I would say, to get him in. Albeit, if Duran's leaving for 60, would they want to spend all that money pretty much on Tell? I'm not sure, but maybe they would. And if they are willing to do that, then it's going to be difficult for us to beat Villa as well. So as much as I'm happy that it seems as though we're really going for him, and it seems as though we want to get ahead of the competition, it's just a case of as soon as a club like Arsenal or Villa get really serious about him as well and are willing to match what we're offering, it's going to be difficult for us, I think, at this stage.
Why does every bloody Spurs transfer have to be this like wild goose chase? Every single one. You see like other clubs come out and just go and get their targets. When Spurs, every single time, whether it be the deal earlier on in the window with Kolo Muani or now, they just seem to be this like wild goose chase. And I don't think for a second that Spurs are able to get this deal over the line. I think Villa actually is a really good option for him. And, they got 90 million, including add-ons for John Duran from Saudi. He's going there tomorrow, I think, is going to finalise the deal. And with that kind of money behind them, I think he will end up at somewhere like Aston Villa, to be honest. I really do. And also with the update saying that Tell was waiting to see if Manchester United or Arsenal formalise their interest. It's like Ange Postecoglou has made it very clear in the past to say that if you don't want to join Spurs for being Spurs, to join Spurs instead of just waiting for other options, then I don't really want you at the club, and that might play into it as well.
Yeah, that's fair. When it comes to Man United, it seems as though they only want a loan deal. So are they seriously interested in him? It seems as though he would prefer a permanent, and I don't know if he'd want to rather go to Man United on loan, or maybe he'd rather come to us permanently, or maybe even Bayern wouldn't accept the loan deal. Maybe they'd rather a permanent. I don't know what the state of the deals are. I think, I do think as much as I want it, I think all the signs to me point that he probably isn't going to come here. But you never know. Maybe if we show that we're more serious than anyone else about bringing him, and we're willing to put the money up and willing to do it quickly, maybe that will tell him that that this club really wants me, and actually this could be I'd rather go to somewhere where that's really trying to get me rather than someone who I'm like their second or third choice. So maybe that's something, but I think at this current time, I'd still say it's unlikely we probably win his signature.
Yeah, that's the way it's looking at the moment. But it does look like at this current moment in time as well that Spurs are the ones pushing hardest for him right now. But with the John Duran deal just about to get formalised, you don't know what Aston Villa are going to do in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Johan Bakayoko. Everyone knows my feelings on him. I love this guy as a player, top talent. I think he fits us like a glove on a hand. And Loic Tanzi says Johan Bakayoko will have to be monitored in the last few days of the window, as at least 2 Premier League clubs have planned attacks on the Belgian in the coming days. And I would love one of those clubs to be Tottenham. I think, there was rumours, was it Newcastle of 25, 30 million at the start of this window, or just before the window opened. And if we could get a deal like that over the line for Bakayoko, I think he really sorts out that right-wing problem that we got.
Yeah, I agree. And I think he's perfect for the system in terms of his ability to dribble. Scored a lovely goal yesterday against Liverpool, if you saw, in the Champions League. So we've seen him at that level do quite a good job in the Champions League, not just in Eredivisie. So clearly a really talented winger and someone who brings a different skill set, I think, out wide that we don't really have. Obviously, we haven't been named as the club specifically interested, but I would love if it's been kept under wraps, if Lang has been working in the shadows and all of a sudden we pop up with a serious offer and able to bring him in on deadline day. That'll be fantastic. Obviously, him playing for PSV, he knows that Tottenham, as much as we're not doing well, it is a step up from there. So I do think we won't have a problem convincing him. It just depends who else is interested if we are one of those clubs. Obviously, at the moment, we don't know who those 2 clubs are. I assume probably one of them is Newcastle, but that's just speculation, judging by the rumours. Maybe one of them is Aston Villa because they need a winger as well. Maybe with the money they're going to get from John Duran, maybe he's a player because he would really suit them as well, I feel.
I reckon Arsenal,
Maybe. With Saka out.
I don't see a reason why not, because even before Saka was out, they were looking for someone that maybe not to provide competition, but yeah, competition, I guess, for Saka, because Saka's been playing every game, no matter what position, and they just need some respite for him. And I know a lot of Arsenal fans have been crying out for a right winger for some time.
Could be. It could be him. It could be them as well. They seem to be going for a striker at the moment. I don't know if they're also going for a winger, but it could be Arsenal. So I think it's definitely one to keep an eye on. I cross my fingers one of those teams is Tottenham, and I'm crossing my fingers that that's one we can steal a march on. But again, we don't have anything to go on that says it is Tottenham right now.
Yeah. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Greek striker Stefanos Tsimas. As Florian Plettenberg says, Tsimas is currently leaning towards a move to Brighton in the summer after very good talks with Fabian Hertzler. However, Tottenham and Aston Villa are also in the race for Tsimas and engaged in concrete talks and negotiations, but Brighton are currently in pole position. Nuremberg are demanding 25 million euros plus bonus payments in the summer. Before that, Nuremberg will activate the 18 million euros buy option for the 19-year-old striker talent. He currently is on loan with Nuremberg from PAOK Salonika. This year in the Bundesliga 2, the second division in Germany, he scored 10 goals in 16 games. He's 19-year-old centre forward, and he's someone that Liverpool have actually been quite heavily linked to in the past. He's got a lot of pace. He can dribble. He's a counter-attacking threat. He's got very high finishing stats as well, and he makes heavy defensive contributions. So he does sound like a striker that would fit the mold for Tottenham, but I haven't seen too much of him play.
Yeah, and he's 18, isn't he? So
19,
another
yeah.
young player. I don't know if bringing him in now is the best thing. That's you're saying the summer. Is he going to come straight to the first team? We're going to loan him out. I don't know all these things. All I know is if Brighton are in pole position, he's probably a good player. That's probably definitely true. They don't usually get things too wrong in their recruitment. So I don't know if we're serious about him. Obviously, we've got a lot of young strikers here at the club already, with the likes of Lancashire. You've got Scarlett. So adding another one to the list. If he's that good, then go for it. But yeah, I don't know too much about him.
Yeah, it looks as though, like, if you believe what you're hearing in the press, that they're looking to him to replace an Evan Ferguson. That looks like what they're trying to do. So
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
But look, that is your Tottenham update as of 30th of January, 1:30 in the afternoon. Still no sign of any signings. Just got to wait, grin and bear it.
Well,
Got to
things
wait.
do seem to be heating up a bit.
Heating up in terms of links and rumours, but I don't think we're any closer to actually signing anyone.
Well, clearly we're moving harder, I think. I like to think anyway.
Yeah, you like to think, but I mean, out of the names we've just said, neither of us think any of them are coming to Spurs.
Yeah, but what do we know?
Anyway, we move, and yeah, let's hope by the next update we have for you, then there'll be something more concrete to tell you. We'll be back for the watch along this evening, 8 p.m. kickoff. Tottenham against Elfsborg. Be there or be square. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.